Hey everybody, Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, we have some issues regarding the CAN and the bandwidth again today. Okay, sorry about this. We just seem to have this. It's a continuing problem here with some of the bandwidth issues. So we'll get through this and we'll enough bandwidth. So let me do. Sorry about that. There we go. And this will until I get the bandwidth constrained, unfortunately. And I'm going to see if I can get the charts up here. Thanks for bearing with me, everybody. Everybody. I had to close down. For everyone, I had to close down the Discord just because I didn't have enough bandwidth going on here, and I'm trying to get it so you know we have charts. So let me pull up the charts here. I think I'm going to be able to do that. That's right. All right, very good. So this is kind of going. Just to kind of show them a little bit that this is the snack. So we're going to take a look at this. We're up to still above that very level, 14,000 level 1471. So that's looking pretty good on that. I'm really seeing that. So that is. Up on the neck, which is great. We were in a market trend under pressure, and now we're looking much better. The local high here was 142, 20 above that, so we're at 14,000. So that's looking pretty darn good. And it's interesting because we're seeing a lot of setups on many of the tech stocks, which is really interesting. I did buy a little bit of Microsoft as it was setting up, and today the real story is Virgin Galactic. I'm going to show you that chart in just a second. Just amazing. It just rocketed up there. It went through a buy point, and I'll show you the marked up chart for that. It's pretty terrific. Also want to kind of check in on some of the other indexes here for Friday. The S&P 500 is also it's an update today too, so it's looking all around, we're looking much better. Let's see if I can much better than we were. I mean, it's just we were in a situation just a few days ago where we were in a market trend under pressure, so it looks as if we're starting to see some very nice motion action here, and I've definitely been trying to move into stocks. Let's look at the Dow Jones as well. The Dow Jones is a little bit weaker, but it started to move up as well. So we kind of have three green lights, which is really good. Typically, we're not in a position like that. We weren't in a position like that the other day. We just weren't. So that's looking really good. Now, I promised everyone that I would look at this stock Space, which is Virgin Galactic, SPCE. And this is a stock that people in the Discord room know a lot about because we've been talking about it, very a lot today. It is probably not a good place to buy it right now because it is extended, but you can see these are my notes on it. We had a massive movement up today, a gap up, and congratulations for everybody that's in the Discord room that was able to get in on this. This is a really good situation. Again, in my notes, I showed the way I bought this one, of course, was with a buy stop limit order. And these are really handy, these buy stop limit orders, because the way a stock sometimes moves, and this is an extreme case, but the way stocks sometimes move is they're sort of like these coiled, it's like you get all this energy, it coils up, and then it just gets ready, and then when the weekends move out, boom, it goes right back up, and that's exactly what's happened here. Looks like it's going to have a very strong close. As you can see, I had my buy stop limit order right here at this little mark, and as it moved above that, boom, it bought and went all the way up in. And many people, they have that is just right 50. Okay, that's where I have my stop loss on. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a note in there where I have my stop loss. I'm gonna set an alert on that, and I'm at 50 on my stop loss on that. And basically, so that's right about I think I'm back with some of the audio. We were having extreme problems regarding the audio, so I apologize if I'm not getting everything on that. But getting back to how I've been playing space, of course, I have my stop loss right here at 50. You see, and what I do typically is when it moves up, I'll put my stop loss up and then I'll keep moving it up. Now, tonight, depending on how it sets, I'm going to probably set it up maybe as high as maybe 53. So that's a good strategy sometimes when you have these fast moving stocks. You buy them with the buy stop limit order, so as it pulls above certain price, it's going to buy for you, and then it guarantee that I'm going to make profit in there. So that's kind of just a trading strategy that I really like to employ. I really like to employ this. Now, I just want to kind of show you some other kind of highlight stocks that I did buy today. Well, I actually bought this one yesterday. It's called L Brands. Symbol is LB. It's not quite as spectacular as Virgin Galactic. I have a little note on here. Basically, I bought a half position. And why did I buy it? Well, I bought it because it is coming right above that very critical 71.69 buy point. Okay, that's the calculated buy point on it, and it's in the buy zone right now. Now, it's on weaker volume. This isn't quite as spectacular, of course, as Virgin Galactic. But this has some good potential. Why? Because not only is it in a very good pattern, but this particular area, this retail apparel, shoes, and accessories area, is the 13th. This sector is 13 out of 197. So right now, this is a great sector for the market. This is a great sector for the market. Let me see if I can switch on my on my TikTok here. If I can switch the camera so that you can see. If you can, I don't know if you can see that. Well, maybe not. I don't think you can. I don't think we can do that. Okay, so I'm going to flip it back. There we go. All right. Okay. I'm still trying to get it so that I can show for everybody on TikTok. I can show my charts. I'm still trying to figure this out technically. Have not been able to do it. But on YouTube, which is I have right here, it's youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And I am showing the charts on there, so you could definitely take a look at it. If you want to take a look at the charts, also you could just go to my profile, click the link, and there's a menu, and just scroll down to the bottom, and you should see the live, that I'm doing right now on YouTube. So, all right. So we have, getting back to L Brands, this is one I did buy today, and I do think it's looking quite good. It's in this very interesting sector, this shoes apparel area, which I really like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the screen of the kind of the industry groups that I currently, that seem to be doing better than average. And basically one of the ways that you can make money in the stock market is to find out where the funds are moving their money and just kind of follow along with them like a little minnow, after a whale. So right now, there's a lot of movement into this retail apparel shoes area for some reason. Why, I don't know. I also bought Nike, but it seems to be doing well. As you can see, it's got this is the entire group here. but I kind of want to show you ones that you might, kind of leaders that you might want to look at. Now, I did talk about a little bit about some of these other ones. Now, right now, though, it looks as this, and I don't know what this is, Chico's. Again, I'm not an expert in retail, but this is the one you want to look at, because Chico's, as you can see, this is not a very expensive stock. $6.97, but this is making a move right now as well. It's also in this interesting retail apparel, shoes, and accessories group, which has been so strong. And obviously, I also, if you've been looking at the channel and on the Action Trade Alerts, we put out a very, very nice trade on a company called Shoe Carnival. Shoe Carnival, can you believe it? My girlfriend loves Shoe Carnival. Actually, I'm not so much on it, but Shoe Carnival is splitting 2 for 1. And why is this a good area? I have no idea. I think I've got to defer to some people that are better shoppers than I am. But right now, for some reason, we're seeing just a lot of strength in the we're seeing a lot of strength in this particular area, this shoe apparel retail area, and it's just been asleep, but it seems like it's coming to life. So this is kind of the list of suspects in here. Of course, top of the list, probably everyone's heard of Lululemon. They have really nice stuff. I hear. I don't shop there. If you took one look at me, you'd say no, he can't go there. Not a place for him. But but this was doing very, very well as well. These are the kind of names that you might want to kind of take a look at. L Brands, of course, is in there, and then of course, Shoe Carnival. Let's see where Shoe Carnival is right now. Let's see if I've got. There's just a lot of names here. Tilly's, yeah, Shoe Carnival. This is the one that's going to be splitting. This is one that's going to be splitting 2 for 1 on July 19th. So this is a really interesting. It's pulled back a little bit today, but it's a little bit tight in this pattern. But this is moving up quite nicely in this sort of channel. So it's at the top of the channel. So we'll see if it moves higher, but definitely moving on this moving in this sort of area. So we may see a little bit of a pullback based on this, but going into July, I think you're going to see this be quite strong. The volume is up tremendously on this one, Shoe Carnival. So it's just kind of an interesting thing. I mean, we're seeing, just a lot of different sectors come to life. Of course, the rotation started with the oils, and it's moved to the retail. So that's one of the things that we want to kind of take a look at. Let's take a look at the first question. Can you please advise on Wish? Now, I'm actually in Wish, believe it or not. But I don't have the shares. I have a spread, and it's a really small spread. It's kind of a weenie trade. It's just so I'll look at it. Basically, what I do is I own the July 15 calls, and I've sold in a spread the 20 calls. So it has been moving up, but let's look at the 15-minute chart on it. And I'm just going to pull over here so you can see it. Yeah, there you go. This is the 15-minute chart. Basically, there was a volume spike. I noted that here, and then we're sort of right at this 15 level. There, interestingly enough, the reason I made this trade, of course, was unusual options activity. There's a lot of options activity with the July with the July expiration on this. So maybe I can show you kind of with the July expiration, it seems to have a lot of interest. So let me see if I can go to the chart here and see if we can get in some good options information for Wish here. So I'm going to go over here to the options key, and as you can see, there's a lot of volume on the July 14 and the 15 strikes. You can see this is a very large amount of volume on the July 15th. It's much higher than normal. There's also a lot at the $14 level on the calls. Taking a look at the puts, not so much. So this is a definitely bullish. The July 21s there's definitely action on that. So this is an interesting one. I wouldn't I wouldn't I don't think you want to enter necessarily here, but here I think that if you're looking for a trade, you might want to look at the July 15 calls. That's kind of what I think that is you want. Now I have some of the 15 calls, but I did it in a spread. I did it in a spread where I bought the lower strike price, the 15, and I sold the upper one, which is the 20, and that's how I did it. It gives you a little bit of protection on the downside. So the 15 calls for WISH, W-I-S-H, you know, there's a lot of activity on a lot of buying of those. So we'll see what happens. All right, Gator fan, EVK. Let's look at EVK. EVK. And this is a penny stock. Interesting. Everglory. I don't know what Everglory is. Is this an apparel company? I don't know what it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Manufactures middle to high-end apparel. Okay, makes sense. And the apparel clothing manufacturing group is doing much better. So I'm liking that aspect. But let's see if we have any better quote unquote merchandise in that area. This is apparel group. So I'm going to look at the apparel clothing group. If it looks as if the top selling apparel companies, you might want to look at this one. They're all down from their peak. So I don't like this group as good as well. It's good. Boy, that's bad. This group, here's the thing. I like the retailers better than the manufacturers here. So I think where you might want to look, where you might want to look for this is in the retail clothing. So let me see if I can pull that up to see if we have something there that might work for you better than those. The one I really like is this retail apparel group, and this is the one that I've been seeing a lot of very strong action in, and that's right here. And this is the one. I have several in there. Of course, I have L Brands. Let's look at the stocks in the group. I have L Brands in here. I have Shoe Carnival. And let's see at the top stocks. Currently today, Abercrombie & Fitch is also a really good one. And of course, everybody's seen them. Now, this is not necessarily a great buy point. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm not seeing it as tremendous buy point, but I'm seeing a lot of really strong action in Abercrombie & Fitch, of all things. And of course, a lot of people like to shop there, and the malls are opening again. So, with EVK, I think, Gator fan, I probably would watch list this one, but I wouldn't buy it right now. I don't like the manufacturers as well as I like some of the retailers. I do like the retailers better. All right. Do you think we should stay away from the market next week? I don't know. I think the market is turning very, very nicely right now. At least, normally in the summer, it's not as good. I'll be honest with you. There's an old saying, sell in May and go away. But it looks like there's a lot of strength in the market right now. We're almost at an all-time high for the, we're almost at an all-time high for the Nasdaq. So definitely looking good there. If you want to get market alerts, get on the list for market alerts. We do put out market alerts, basically on directional, how the market is trading, and I always put these out, and it's easy to sign up for them. Just for the action trade alerts, and this is really related to the market direction of kind of how things are trading. But to get on the free action trade alerts list, very easy. Just go to www.senfox.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So that's a good way to get on that list for some of that. Okay. What do you think about Magnolia? Let's look at Magnolia. And the oils are, by the way, this is the #1 group right now. This is the number one group. And I want to show you how strong some of these stocks are in the oils group. We go all the way up to the top of the list, and we look and we see it's #1, oil and gas U.S. exploration. That's the #1 group. And right now, so let's look at Magnolia in that group. And I'm going to look at all the stocks that are here. And And I'm going to go down the list, and Matador. I was in this one. I'm out of it, unfortunately, but some of these are just great. I think Magnolia is a little bit down the list. Let me take a look if I can find it. Okay. Let me just see if the top, what's really doing well right now. You know, Matador, I think Matador is, you know, I've been in Matador before. I probably want another position, and this is one, it's really extended, but, you know, I don't necessarily think I would buy it here, but this one is, you might want to look at this as opposed to Magnolia. It's a company called Matador Resources. Now, unfortunately, it's a tough buy in this area because it's moved up, but I do think you could still probably buy a half position here. I want to look at the at the 15-minute chart to kind of see if there's anywhere to buy it. You know, I think that I think Matador is definitely buyable. Here's what I would do: is if I bought Matador, I would probably try to buy it up here, and of course it would be about $37.50. And then what I would do is I'd set a buy stop limit order right about 38, and then with $38.10, and then I would set my stop loss immediately at about 36. But Magnolia is good. Let's take a look again, Mary. I think it's, what is Magnolia symbol? Let's just take a look at Magnolia. I have to remember what the symbol is. I have to just do that really quick. Magnolia Oil. Let's see if I can get that right. No. Symbol. Okay. MGY. I apologize. I should have known this, you know. MGY. MGY is the symbol. And let's take a look at the daily chart and get back to Mary's question. You know, it pulled above this beautiful buy point here at 13.35. It's pulled back, and then it tested, and then it's gone up. If you're to buy it right now, it's a little extended. I'll be honest with you. This stock right now is a little bit extended. So if we were to buy it at this level, you know, it wouldn't be. It is not quite as optimal. We probably don't want to do it. We don't want to do it now. If we already have the position, I would hold this position. And here's what I would do if I already owned the stock, which I do not own Magnolia. I would set my stop loss right at about there, at about 13.35. Why? Because that is the level of resistance. And so what I'll do here is I'll just add a little note, and that's going to be at 13.35. So that's going to be kind of where I would add the price, 13.35. And I use these alerts a lot because they are, and that's right there, as you can see. The reason I do this is because it makes it easier. I don't recommend trading as many stocks right now, but right now I have a lot of stocks, so I'm using more and more. I'm using I'm more and more using the alerts, and I think that's a good way to go. But thank you very much for that. I think Magnolia is a great stock. It's a little extended, so I don't want to buy any new position at this level. And of course, the symbol is MGY on that. I don't want to buy any more new shares, but if I'm in it, I definitely don't want to jump out of it. I want to move my stop loss up. Where I want to put my stop loss is probably at about 13.35. So that's, if you've listened to me before, what I'm talking about is the stop losses. And what they are is that if it pulls below that level, then it will sell you out. So I like to trade with stop losses because I can't watch the screen all the time. So by putting stop losses in, and I always do good to cancel market stop losses, that's the way a lot of times you can, in these fast moving stocks, you can get into them, you can move that stop loss up, and then when it pulls back, you have a very nice gain there. So I want to take a look at some of the stocks that I am currently in, and I'm just going to go to the list, my current list. There we go. And let's see if it'll let me open that. Well, it won't. So I don't know if I was able to put this. No, it didn't work. I'm still trying to get this to work. I'm sorry, it didn't work. Okay, so I can't show you that list, unfortunately. I have to show you with another, using another thing. Okay, so please advise on a better entry for Magnolia. Well, with Magnolia, Patik, we can't. This is, you know, the entry really was from about 1335 on up, about 5% for. I don't know if we're talking about the same one here. On up to about 1421. So we're above that. We're extended, so we can't do that. Unfortunately, we can't enter Magnolia right now. It's unfortunately we can't do that. All right. So let's look again at NVIDIA, and this is a question from Jay. Let's pull that up. NVDA, and of course, as everybody knows, has been watching me for a long time. I very much like NVIDIA. I am a very big fan. It's going to be splitting 4 for 1. The date of record was on the 21st. That was Monday, and it will be they'll be trading as split shares on the 19th. But I think it's still very, very strong. Now, do you want to enter it at this point? If you're not already in this stock, you probably don't want to enter it. It's a bit extended. I am playing this with options, and I have a call spread. I have a call spread on several call spreads on this one, but my call spreads are very conservative. They're way down here at about at about the 570 range. So if you're interested in some of these call spreads, I may try to do one last call spread for everybody, and I would like to kind of put it out there. If you're not on the Action Trade Alerts, I'm probably going to put this out on the Action Trade Alerts, another call spread for NVIDIA, because I still think there's another bite or two left on the apple, and then I think it's going to move to about 800 by the time we get to July 19th, and then afterwards it's probably going to fall a little bit. But if you're not on the Action Trade Alerts list, this is how I send these out. It's www.sendfox.com/IntelliTradingFloor. So appreciate that very much. Let's get back to the next question. Let's see if we take a question from TikTok. Thank you very much. Oh, let's look at Bitcoin. Okay. Well, this is everybody's favorite, everybody's favorite. So I'm going to look at the Bitcoin price, BTC price. And let's put, okay. Yeah, okay. So we're starting to see what, unfortunately, is, I think, a drop-off in terms of, we're down, we're down, well, is that right? Yeah. BTC price. So hopefully this will bring us up correctly. Yeah, there we go. So we're down again today on Bitcoin, and not surprising, there is a floor, and that floor is right about 30,000. So let's kind of look at the daily chart here to see kind of how it's trading. What's happening with Bitcoin, and I do think we're starting to see some weakness here, is it's pulling down. It's getting right to about 30,000. Yeah, there it did. Okay, on June 12th it came right down, and then it's moving back up. Let's look at the daily chart to see. Yeah, we just have this fall off on it. It's 32 seems to be the floor, at least locally, but I think that the real floor on Bitcoin currently is about 30,000. Here's the thing, and I just want to be very clear with everybody, and I put several videos out on this on TikTok. When you're trading Bitcoin, try never to enter it when Bitcoin is pulling back. So you don't want to catch that falling knife. Really, it's really important that you don't want to do that. Then as you enter Bitcoin, as it's moving up, move your stop loss up. Now, many of the coin places don't allow stop losses on Bitcoin, but there is an alternative way to trade this, and I want to kind of put this out there for everybody. And this might be a way that you can trade Bitcoin using stop losses. And here it is. There is a security out there called GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Okay, and basically they have 4% of the world's Bitcoin. Now, this is part of the reason I have not been that bullish on Bitcoin as of late. This is the GBTC chart, and as you can see, it's been pulling back. And I'm going to reactivate this line here, but this is essentially a trend line. And this is sort of the line of no return that I have. As you can see, it's bouncing right off this, And so we are currently in a downward trend for Bitcoin. And the reason I know this, even though it doesn't reflect it on the actual prices on Bitcoin, it's because the GBTC is trading like this. And so because this represents 4% of the world's Bitcoin, we are in a downward trend on it. So if we move lower, say lower than about $30,000 to 1, then I'm afraid Bitcoin is probably going to move down. It could move down to about the $12,000 to $15,000 range. And why do I know that? Well, I know that because this is where the buy point is, this next buy point. So I think if we lose power here, we're likely to go much lower. So I think right now it's not necessarily the best time to be in Bitcoin just because of this situation. All right, so let's look at space. Now this one, we looked at this earlier, and this was a very nice move today. The reason I was able to catch this move, quite frankly, it wasn't because I was quick on anything. It's because I used what they call a buy stop limit order, and those are they're really cool because here's how the buy stop limit order works. I had my buy stop limit order right there. You see, okay, and so what happened is as space Virgin Galactic moved up to about 39, yeah, okay, about 39, well, actually to 38, it activated the buy stop limit order, and I bought it at 38.10 as it moved above that. Then it closed down, but it closed down above that stop, so I kept it. The next day, of course, I was already in it with a buy stop limit order, so as it moved up, I bought me again. So this is a good way to possibly do an order. Now, will this hold up overnight, over the weekend? You know, this is going to adjust. I guarantee it. This is going to adjust down. What I'm going to do tonight with my holdings is I'm going to push my stop loss way up here to about 53. Okay. Now that sounds very, very aggressive. Why would I do that with the danger of being sold out? Why? Because I think it's going to readjust, maybe down to about 50, and then I think it's going to move back up again. So I might be able to double dip on this. And that would be great if I could do that, because if I, sell it as it pulls back, and then wait for it to dip, and then buy it back again. So there's a lot of opportunity on space. They just got approval for they got their certificate, so now they can carry private passengers into space, and it's really a cool thing. That's part of the reason why it went up so much today. As you can see, I just want to show you one more thing on the chart. You see this little Easter egg here on my software. What this does is this is abnormally high. This is the highest volume since the last earnings. This is right here. So as you can see, this has made a new higher volume. So I'm always looking at the volume, not only the price, but the volume as well. This made a higher volume since the last earnings. So that's very cool. So not only do we have this huge gap up, but we have this huge shift in volume. Now, what makes a stock go up? Well, a lot of people think, oh, well, they have good earnings, that people like it, they buy it. No. What makes a stock go up is that the sellers, the easy sellers, they call the weak hands, they decide, well, they've already sold out. They sell out, and then the strong hands, the ones that don't want to sell, the hedge funds, the heavy money, they say, well, I'm not going to sell it out for $40, and then the stock goes up, and the people that have to bid it up. So that's what's happened here, is that all the weak hands basically got washed out, and now it's just the strong hands that are in there. So we'll get to a point where we'll create, some of those strong hands will become weak hands once again, but right now people are refusing to sell. It's moving up, so that's why we want to move up our stop loss. So interesting times on space. All right, let's look at GBK, and that's a question from Ben. GBK. All right, and if I can get it in there right and get it actually GPK, getting excited, it's almost the weekend. Let's look at this. So this is interestingly enough, okay, so this is called Graphic Packaging Holding. I don't know this company. It's in a pretty good area, the paper products area, 34 out of 197. I'm liking that. It's in this consolidation range. Really, the buy point on this is about 1975 here. Currently, it's trading at 18. So would we buy this right now? Well, no. I want to see a reversal. So Let's see if I can go to the weekly chart and see if I can draw a reversal line. Doesn't really give me an opportunity, but I can do it sort of. I can draw a line sort of like that. That's the reversal line, and I'm going to put, yep, that's going to give me a value. Okay, so let's go back to the daily chart. Let's see if I would only buy this if it reverses higher, and right now it appears that I'm going to draw it right down to the, yeah, that's going to give us the reversal line. So it looks like it has sort of made this reversal, and it looks like it's pulling higher. But here's the thing, I probably would not be a buyer until it got up to probably about 19. I might consider buying at 19. This probably wouldn't be a buy for me because it's got a low relative strength at 43. Let's look at the checklist here. You know, the checklist is only a 44 checklist. So I probably would watch this as one. I would not buy this one just based on that. So that's kind of my opinion, Ben. It's in a good group, but I think I'm looking at areas that are seeing a lot more love from some of the institutions. Now, one of the areas that I'm looking at very heavily right now is the retail apparel area. The companies in that area seem to be doing really, really well. Retail apparel and shoes, that's the sector. Also, of course, and I've been harping on this for months now, is the oil sector. You know, the E&Ps are doing very, very well. So that's kind of my take on it. But thank you so much for the question. All right, let's look at Crocs. You know, I can't understand why Crocs are doing so well, but they are. CROX. People seem to really like these. I mean, there's also another one that you might want to look at. It's called Figs, and I want to kind of show you that chart as well. But the Crocs chart is looking very good. I'm amazed that they can get $114 a share for something that, you know, for plastic shoes. I mean, who would have thought that plastic shoes would be fashionable? I certainly don't wear them, but then again, I'm not very fashionable. So for me, it's not a big deal. But people love Crocs. Now, is there a place to buy Crocs? Well, this apparel shoe area, again, also very good. 50 out of 197. Now, I just bought Nike in there, and this, of course, is a much bigger company in KE, and that's just, you know, as you can see, yeah, I just bought, actually, I bought Nike yesterday, and as you can see, after hours, it's moved up again. We had another one of these great, you know, this is what I was talking about with Nike. Let's see, yeah, there we go. So yeah, you see, what would happen? This is the one I bought, Nike. Now, can you buy Nike right now? Well, yes, you probably can. You know, it's still in the buy zone, but just barely. I'm going to put, that's the reversal line for Nike. And basically, what's going on here is that, you know, this, again, when the market moves to a confirmed uptrend from an uptrend under pressure, you see these things like, you see this kind of volume happening. Look at all that volume that came in there. Amazing. And that's what caused it to gap up. They had some very good earnings. So this group is also very good. I also have, as you well know, I have a play on Shoe Carnival. Shoe Carnival. But this area is doing very, very well. So Crocs, I could definitely see Crocs. It's not as good a buy point. I would instead of buying Crocs, maybe look at Nike, because I think Nike has a better setup than Crocs does right now. They're both very, very good, but I think Nike has a little bit better setup. All right, question on NVIDIA. NVDA. Let's see how this is gonna trade into the end of the day. Well, we've been flirting with this 760. We seem to have some. You know, we definitely seem to have some resistance right here at, you know, at the in this area. So it's definitely come down a little bit. It seems like, you know, this 760 area seems to be kind of the area that it's seeing some resistance. So hopefully it can pull above that. But what I'm seeing, we're coming into a weekend and we have this very, very strong buying bar. So people are looking at this. I do think that I think NVIDIA is likely to move higher on Monday based on this chart. And the reason I do is because of this this buying coming in here strong at the end of the close. So we're seeing this. This is typical with a lot of the, sometimes with the with these larger stocks. The larger firms will try to shake people out, the retail investors, by doing this. What they'll do is they'll wait, they'll slam the stock, and then at the end of the day they'll come in and they'll buy. And I think that's sort of what's happening with NVIDIA. Maybe it's wishful thinking on my part, but it looks like we are just moving very nicely up to July 19th. Now, of course, on July 19th, NVIDIA will trade 4 for 1. So I do think that is going to be very good. So don't lose faith in NVIDIA, because this is a super great chart, and no stock is going to go up every day. No stock is going to go up every day. But if you look at this weekly chart, as I'm doing, it just looks very, very strong. So keep the faith with NVIDIA. I think you're going to see $800 NVIDIA stock. Now, I could be totally wrong on this, but I think we're going to see $800 price levels by July 19th, because that's when it splits 4 for 1. So I'm looking at that. Also, the relative strength line is pointing up with strong, and I want to show you this, there's strong volume in here. So I'm still very, very bullish on NVIDIA. Now, would I be entering a new position in NVIDIA right now? Probably not, because it's a bit extended, but that's just the way it is. All right, let's look at run for Jay. Run, yeah. Sun Run Run. Sun Run Run. Here's the thing about Sun Run Run. It is starting to make a reversal. By looking at, the ideal reversal charts are when you take, well, let's go to the daily chart. You take a look at it and you look to see, okay, I want to go from the peak, and then I want to pick up as many of these sort of points. Remember when you did this in intermediate school? You're in your geometry class, and you thought, man, I'm never gonna do anything with this, right? Well, guess what? You can actually make money with that using this thing. And what I did here is I drew this reversal line on Sun Run Run. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set the alert on that line. There we go. And so this is how I analyze, Jay, to see if the stock has reversed, and it definitely has reversed. Now, let me show you another thing that I look at, but this is not very good. One of these things is this black line here. This is the 200-day moving average, and what this 200-day moving average does, is this shows if the stock price is below that, like it is now, that means that money is flowing out of this stock. And if it's above that, it means it's flowing into that stock on a 200-day basis. So right now it's below that. So I couldn't buy this stock, but I could watch list this one. So by looking at this chart, we have this price action. We've started the reversal. You see, we've moved above the reversal, but it's not time to buy yet. And the reason it isn't time to buy, of course, is because we're below the 200-day line. I don't like to buy below the 200-day line. If you'll notice, this is the inverse of the way it should look. The 50-day line is below the 200-day line. That means that in the last 50 days, there's been a lot of movement out of the stock. Now, in the last 21 days and the last 10 days, there's been movement back into the stock. You can tell that by the fact that the 21-day line is the 21-day and the 10-day line are above the 50-day line. So here's what these lines tell you. It tells you that overall, in the last 200 days, money has been flowing out of this issue, which would make sense because it's in this kind of trend. But it also tells you that within the last 50 days, money has been flowing out because the 21-day and the 10-day line are above the 50-day line. But in the last 21 days, money has started to flow back in, which makes sense if you look here, because if you look at June, money started flowing back into this issue right at the end of May and then into June. So definitely in the last 21 days, we've seen movement back into the stock, but it's still not a good time to buy it. Why? Because it's below that 200-day line. So that's kind of how I read that chart. But thank you very much for that. Let's take a look at Citi. That's interesting. I haven't seen Citi in a long time. That's, of course, symbol C. That's Citigroup. It looks as if Citi was in this beautiful buy point, was in this beautiful buy range. It moved above 78.13, which was the buy point on it, but then it kind of took a dump, unfortunately, and it's moved down. So as you can see, it's moved right to the bottom of the consolidation, about 68.44. The thing about this is, it does look like it may start reversing higher. I wouldn't be in this one right now. As you can see by looking at my chart, that little Easter egg there, what does that mean? Well, that means abnormally high. That means the highest volume since the last earnings. So if we go back to the last earnings, this is the last earnings. So by looking at that little Easter egg there, there's been a lot of selling. So the overall trend right now, even though we have an upward trending chart here, unfortunately, is a little bit bearish, and it does look like people are selling Citi right now. So I would not be as interested in Citi. As a matter of fact, the financials in general, I'm not as interested in. But they are improving in terms of their money, and the money center banks are improving in terms of their sector. It's 50 out of 197, so that's looking pretty good. But right now, I wouldn't be going into Citi. I just wouldn't. I want to place a trade on MU. Okay, this is Micron Technologies, and I don't know if you knew this, but I guess it was about a year and a half ago, this was the number. This had the lowest price to earning ratio of any tech stock, and it's a company called Micron Technology. And you say, well, gosh, that's sort of the Warren Buffett value trade there, buying that low P to E ratio stock. Well, the thing about semiconductors, they have these huge cycles, and at that time, Micron was selling, was selling a lot of stuff, but they hadn't ramped up their new processes, and they have now, and they're starting to sell really well. Will this one? I last year I did a lot of work on Micron, but I don't know. I want to see this group get a little bit better than it is right now. Currently, this is in the data storage area, which I do think this is a misnomer, because Micron, even though they're in the data storage area, they really, because they make memory, they're lumped in there with Western Digital and Seagate and all this stuff, that disk drive makers. And Micron's more than that. So it's really kind of tough to look at this one. But how would I buy this? Like getting back to this. Right now, I think we might get a bounce off the 200-day line. But right now, I wouldn't be a buyer on this. I just wouldn't be the buyer. First of all, we're only 5 days away from earnings on Micron, and so you don't want to buy into earnings like this, especially in a downward trend. So we're in a downward trend on this one. Don't want to be buying into weakness. That's what they call catching a falling knife. So be very careful on this one. Maybe let's probably watch this one and maybe wait for a better opportunity, because I think unfortunately, Micron, I wish I was more bullish on Micron, but right now I'm not as bullish. Let's see how it comes through earnings, see how it does there, and see if we can find something in there to buy. All right, can't see the screen. The reason that you can't see, and this is a question, this is going out to everybody on TikTok. I can't, unfortunately, show you the screen on TikTok because of the way TikTok works. If you want to see the charts, go to this address, youtube.com/DallasTradingFloor, or you can just go to my you could just go to my profile, click the link, and scroll all the way down. You'll see it, and you'll see the live YouTube version of it. The charts are only available on YouTube, unfortunately not on TikTok, at least for right now. So that's kind of the situation with TikTok. But I can see the questions, but I can't, unfortunately, show you the charts on TikTok. It's just the way it is. All right. Hey, Andrew, thank you very much. I thank you for listening here. Andrew says, for everybody in TikTok, great tip on SCVL. This is my favorite one, Shoe Carnival. Shoe Carnival. See, for some reason, everybody wants to buy new shoes. So I don't know why this is going on. But Nike, I bought Nike, and Crocs are doing great, and I guess they sell them at Shoe Carnival. The thing that's pushing up Shoe Carnival, I think, is the fact that they're going to be splitting 2 for 1, and that's going to happen on July 19th. So this is a symbol SCVL. Now, could you buy it at this point? Well, it's a little bit extended. I don't know if we want to buy Shoe Carnival. I think we kind of missed the boat on this. Pulling back a little bit, it looks as if we have some consolidation on the price, and that looks like to be right about 74. So here's the thing. What I would possibly do if I did buy Shoe Carnival right now, I'd be setting my stop loss right about 72, 73. That's very tight, but you know, we have had a little bit of selling here, so we want to kind of protect our profits. But Shoe Carnival, Shoe Carnival is probably going to move up until we get to the July 19th on the split. So kind of a cool play there. Kind of a cool play. SOFI. And of course, this is an investment bank. SOFI. Let's take a look at it. See if it's SoFi. No, I'm sorry. I thought it was an investment bank. I am wrong. It's a fintech company. Pardon me. SoFi is an investment banker too, but I guess SoFi Technologies is different. Don't know much about this one. I'll be honest with you. It looks like a relatively newish. It's 6 months old. It does have an IPO base, though. What I mean by an IPO base, well, an IPO base is sort of, it will come out of the door, and you can see there, it comes out of the door, and then all the insides, and then it comes up, and then it kind of does this looping thing. So it's not a good time to buy it right yet, but it may be soon. I don't know right now. This is in a good area, consumer finance area. I'm just looking at this. This is what I call an IPO base. We have a roll of circling debt. So here's what I would do if I was interested in getting into this one. I'm not necessarily in this one right now because I was in another one that I got shaken out of called Upstart, which does a similar kind of thing. And I want to look at this group first, but this is a typical IPO base where it goes like this. So where you want to buy the IPO base is when it's making a higher high, and that currently is about 28. So I don't want to buy this one right now, but I want to watch list this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set an alert on this one for a potential buy, and that would be at about I'm looking here at about 23. About 23.50 is where I would probably set it. That's right about here. So if it moves up there and it moves above that, that's where we could possibly buy it. But right now, I think you want to keep you want to keep this. You don't want to necessarily do this one right now. It's looking good, but I think you want to wait. So here's how I would play this one, just for everybody out there. The way I would play this one is with what they call a buy stop limit order. So here's what I would do for SoFi. For SoFi, SOFI, set a buy stop limit order for, I'm going to say about 23.50 for equals the stop price, and then 23.60 for the limit price. So let's see if I've got that all right. There we go. I'm going to put this in here. Hopefully I didn't totally fat finger everything. But this is how I would play. This is how I would play SoFi. What I would do is I would place a special kind of order called a buy stop limit order, and the stop price is 23. That's the 23.50 equals the stop price, and then the limit is 23.60. So here's what's happening on that. If the stock moves up again, now right now you don't want to buy it, but if it moves above 23.50, the limit order is activated at 23.60. So as it moves up on higher volume, then it's going to buy in for you. So you might want to put in and do a half position. Now, what do I mean by a half position? Well, if you have a portfolio that's $8,000 in value, let's say, there are 8 full positions, kind of like pizza slices. So on an $8,000 portfolio, if I wanted to get into SoFi Technologies, what I would do is I would purchase, I would purchase 1/2 of a position. And for this one, currently, if we did this at the limit price, we would take 8,000 divided by 8, giving us $1,000 to work with. Then we would spend as much as $500 worth of stock at the price of at the price limit at $23. So we would take $500 when we divide into that, and that would give us the number of shares that we do on the buy stop limit order. So that's a great way to get into a stock, and I do think this is setting up nice, but I wouldn't buy it right at this time. Why? Because you need to buy a stock as it's moving to a higher high, and this allows you to do it. This buy stop limit order allows you to do that very, very nicely. All right, okay, so let's look at CCIV. This is what I haven't really, I know there's been a lot of options activity on CCIV. Of course, this is the SPAC. This is Bill Ackman's SPAC for Lucid. They're going to buy Lucid. I don't like this one personally. I'll be honest with you. I am not in this one, and I probably will not be in this one based on a lot of factors that have to do with Bill Ackman and Pershing Square partners, which I think are kind of not the greatest. They're sort of shady in my humble opinion. Now, I'm a little retail guy. He's big. He's a billionaire, but I think that he treats mutual investors terribly. So I'm not as interested in this one. I think that though, if you were looking to buy this one, and I'm not looking to buy this one, you want to buy it as it moves above this reversal line that I've drawn here. Now, it definitely has done that, but just very, very weakly. So I'm not really that interested in CCIV until it moves past about this level here, which is the local higher high. So I'm really not interested until it moves up to this point. So if I were going to buy this one, and I'm not going to buy this one more than likely, I would set a buy stop limit order for 3207. No, sorry, 3297. Excuse me, plus 10 cents, or 3307. So the stop on this would be 3267, and the limit would be 3307. So that's how I would play it. All right, question on Ford. Let's look at Ford. Now, Ford has been doing quite well as a stock, and it's starting to trend up. You know, these guys are going to be winners in the EV wars. These guys are absolutely going to be winners in the EV wars. It started to trade up very, very nicely. Is there another entry point? Well, the proper entry point on this, of course, is 1362. That was the proper place. We could have bought it up in the buy zone up to a price of about 1412. We're extended here. We're right now we're called extended. So if we were to buy it at this level, it's probably not a good place to enter it right now. But if you own it, and you want to add to your position, you definitely could add at this level. Just make sure that your average cost of shares is less than this limit that is less than, I'm going to give you the exact number, is less than about 1430. So if you're in Ford right now and you have a really good price on it, you want to add to your position, add to the position, but you want to make sure that your average cost is about 1430 on this. But this is looking very, very, very good. And I do think, but I probably, if I was entering it for the first time, I would not buy Ford at this level because of it is extended. I'll just be honest with you. Now, let's look at PayPal. I have a spread on PayPal. I'm very bullish on PayPal. I think it's an excellent stock. Instead of investing in companies like Citi and all that, I think PayPal is the future. And so I really like this one. Now, it's pulled back a little bit today, but as you can see, look at this. This is the reversal line. This is where I started buying this is where I started my spread. Essentially, is when it moved past that reversal line, as you can see. And how did I make that reversal line? Well, I drew a line from the local high through the next high point, kind of like that, and then that gives me the reversal line. So PayPal is trending up right now. It's looking very, very nice. And look at this. Look at how the index lines are looking. They're also looking very, very good. We've got the 200-day line at the bottom. That's correct. Then we've got the 50-day line, 21-day line, and 10-day line. So this is what you want to see for a stock that's ascending. You want to see that 50-day line at the bottom, You want to see that 200-day line at the bottom, the 50-day line, the 21-day line, and then the 10-day line. And I pay a lot of attention to that because that's telling us that it's gathering strength and it's moving up towards this buy point. The buy point on it is 309. Now, what do I mean by buy point? Buy point is the proper level. There's resistance right here at this level because stocks, they don't go up straight, they kind of step up. And this is going to go right up to the ceiling, and hopefully it'll punch through that. And then when it does, that's the proper place to buy. But I want to buy early, and the way I do it is with this reversal line. So that's kind of looking very good. I think that PayPal is looking very good. Can't say as much for Ford. If you were to buy PayPal at this level, you're not extended, okay? That's why, probably your better buy for next week is PayPal and not Ford. Even though I like Ford a lot, I think PayPal is your best bet based on the charts. What is your thought on space for the medium term? Well, here's the thing about space. It's really a spiky stock. I don't know if that's a word or not, but it's kind of a spiky stock. Now, the way I bought Virgin this last time, of course, is I bought it with this buy stop limit order, basically at about 38. It's not that I knew that it was going to gap up. I just had an order ready in case it gapped up. All right. I do think we're going to see it adjust down a little bit, and it may adjust down, to the 50 level, but it may continue. I think it's going to adjust down to about 50, but I think it's going to bounce, and I think it could be. I think by next week it could be easily as high as 62. I think it could, because this is where it topped out the last time, basically at about 64.12. That's where it topped out. So that's kind of what I'm looking for if things tend to hold well for Virgin. I think we could be all the way up to about 64. Now, if it gets up to about 64, I'm probably going to think about selling. Now I don't decide when to sell. The way I do it, of course, is I just push my little stop loss up there, and then as the stop loss gets higher and higher and higher, eventually it'll correct, and then I'll be sold out. Right now, my stop loss is right here at 50. After this show, I'm probably going to push it up a little bit, maybe to 51, 52, and that's where I'm going to leave it over the weekend. So I'm very bullish right now, at least for the very short term, on space. It looks very good. The chart looks very good. But this is not, unfortunately, a great place to buy it because it's extended. So you got to be careful with that. But if you do buy it, make sure that you put your stop loss in immediately and keep moving that up. And I recommend, say if you bought it at 50, let's say you bought it at 50, then you want to put in a stop loss in no more than, you want to have about no more than 8% below where you bought it. So you want to have that stop loss. If you buy at 50, you want to have that stop loss at about 47.50 or 48. That's where you want to have it. So that's kind of a good place to look on that. Let's look at NIO, and I think we're almost out of time. I think this is going to be our last question, but let's look at NIO. Everybody is interested in NIO. And of course, Tesla's been making a nice move too. It looks as if, sometimes the stocks of last year don't perform as well as the stocks of this year. But right now it's looking as if it is seeing a little bit of resistance. I want to look at the 15-minute chart on NIO to see. Yeah, it's this is kind of the area that I would be looking possibly to have an alert on it if it moves above this about here. But I'm still really reticent on NIO. It is reversed, it is moving higher, but I still want to see a little bit more strength. It's right at the 10-day line, so I kind of want to see a little bit more strength. The relative strength is improving though, which I really like though. Here's the problem with this group, this auto manufacturers group. It's 184 out of 197, so it's not doing as well as some of the other groups. So that's a long talking. So let's take a look, one last stock at Tesla, because Tesla is finally maybe setting up to where we can possibly buy it. Now this is the reason I've been so reticent about Tesla. As you can see, it pulled back. It moved up. It moved past this line of resistance, so it's definitely moving up, but just barely, and then it pulled back. So right now, Tesla is unfortunately, I said that I would consider buying Tesla if it moved above about 680. As you can see, it's moved right to that 680, and then it just gets a weakness. So that tends to be the way Tesla is trading. We have reversed up, but we're not ready to go yet. I want to see Tesla move above 680, possibly above 700, before I'm really a buyer again, because I want to see confirmation that indeed we have reversed higher. So, and that's going to be the fate of NIO as well, because NIO trades very, very similar to Tesla. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, and I hope everybody is having a happy Friday. I know I am. And if you want to get on our action trade alerts and then possibly even the Discord room, the free action trade alerts, super easy. www.sinfox.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And if you want to take a look at our Discord, special Discord service, a private Discord service, and we do trades all day in this service, it's super easy. www.vinny.com/U. Got to put that U in there. Dallas Trading Floor. So that is that. Well, I hope to see you back here on Monday. It's at 2:30 Central. And I will be, I will be putting, we will be analyzing some stocks. Hopefully, we'll have some spread trades and some other stuff. Right now, the market has moved from a uptrend under pressure to a confirmed uptrend. There's a lot of good setups, and I hope we're going to cover some of these, on next week. So, everybody have a great weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday.